Who can play that game?
Because you are a joke. You're a joker.
Hello, guys, and welcome to the MGTOW The Jocker. Right now, we're getting ready to actually start our very first episode of the MGTOW Joker. Yes, sir. This is our very first episode of the MGTOW Joker. Today, the MGTOW Joker will presents what is this channel all about? Ha! Alright, this is the agenda for today. Very simple. Very simple, so we can start the first episode. First, we're gonna talk about a thank you and a purpose. I wanted to give a thanks to Mr. Angry MGTOW. He was the one who actually inspired me to actually start up with the channel. Although he had different views and we have opposite ways to see the life at itself, you know. He actually gave me a reason, and a purpose was like, you know what? Why is it he's got his own thing going on? I mean, I can do the same thing. So that is the reason why, you know, I started on my very first channel. In reality, that's the purpose. Now, this channel, it's gonna go like this. I am going to tell you what you're gonna expect to see. Basically, what you're going to expect to see from me is something positive. You know, I don't want to be a person that's going to be negative or anything like that. You know, I wanted to be somebody who's upbeat and positive about life and how life it turns out to be. If you're going your own way and you decide to actually give that opportunity in your life to actually go and be the person that you want to be, not what other people want you to be. Then I'm going to be talking a little bit about what my life and how is it that I become a MGTOW, and how is it that I went about the whole deal of going my own way. Hopefully you'll be feeling a better understanding as of to how and why I think the way that I think, and I just basically don't follow much of the rules of anybody. I think I got a problem with authority. So I am not fun to a lot of factions or ways of thinking or anything like that. I try to keep myself away from that. Last but not least, I'm gonna give reason for a channel like this. You know, I've seen a lot of channels out there, and then they spread talking about them, talking about the situations and the problems with society, and how this society came to be gynocentric, and how this society are so messed up and everything like that. And they talk their view of life through the external way and through the outside world. Well, my channel is going to be a little bit different. My channel, it's all about the inner self, the inner way, me fighting against the outside world, and me not following any rules whatsoever. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to be accountable for my own actions, because I know that freedom, if you are free and you want to do your own thing, you're just gonna be having some struggles and some difficulties along the way. So I'm just going to express my way of coping with those struggles and life struggles and difficulties along the way. So hold on to your horses that we are starting right now.
Coming close. Closer. Because the more you think you see, the easier it'll be to fool you. Because what is seeing? You're looking, but what you're really doing is filtering, interpreting, searching for meaning. My job? To take that most precious of gifts you give me, your attention, and use it against you. I'm going to flip through this deck, and I want you to see one card, and not this one. That's too obvious. Pay close attention. That was too fast. I'll do it again. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did you see one?
Yes.
Do you have one in mind?
Yes.
And do you see a card here?
No.
That's because you're looking too closely. And what have I been telling you all night? The closer you look, the less you see.
All right, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Basically, going back to the topics that I wanted, I want to actually give a very good thanks of Mr. Angry MGTOW once again, because I feel that even though he's got an opposite view of life itself, that's his way of doing it. Gives me an opportunity um, to actually start up my own channel. And you know I was like amazed, like how people view that post that he posted about fathers, or now being afraid of being afraid of MGTOW people, like if they're like the ogre. In reality, I didn't see it that way. But anyway, that it's contact for another time. I just want to actually express the thank you that actually mentioned my name, and did it in a very fashionable way. Um, but hey, the purpose of the channel is really, really simple. I'm just gonna go ahead and give people the opportunity to view the way that you can live your life, a very nice life, in a very happy way, and in a very upbeat. Because the thing about it is that it doesn't do you any good. It really doesn't do you any good if you are going to live your life, angry at the world, because the world's not going to be the way that you want to be. You know, life, it doesn't work that way. Life is life. You neither be upset at it or angry at it. It's life. You just accept it or not if you don't want it. And it's your decision whether you want to accept the curves that life throws at you, or you don't. Your decision to know how to cope with it. It's your decision to know if you can cope with it, and if you can tolerate that. You know, that's how life tends to be. Nobody changes that. It is what it is. That's one thing that I know about life. I mean, I wish that everything in life will go my way, but no, in reality, it doesn't go that. I mean, it really don't. Um, the other stuff that I wanted to talk about is what you expect to see. Well, I'm just gonna offer you uh, some tips. It's ways or things that have worked for me, and I hope that for some people it will work. That's what I hope to do in this channel. That I'm gonna be offering, some tips of how I do go by living my life and living my life in my way, and hopefully that could help other people to cope with their struggles and things in life. I mean, just basic concepts and things that I've learned through the years and everything like that. Now, my life as a MGTOW. My life as a MGTOW started up um, when I got divorced. Yes, I was married once. Yes, I went to the traditional way once. I didn't know any better. I was 19 years old. I got married and everything like that. I went to first of all, I went to school. I did all the things that I was required to do by society. Went to school. I got married. I went to the military. After I got into the military, I got divorced, and then I mean, during my marriage, I had kids, and then I got divorced, and then afterwards I started, living life. One uh thing during that period that I started living, that I started my life as a divorced person, it was really harsh for me. I thought that everything was bad, and I blamed the world and I blamed the women. I didn't even want to know about the women. I was like, you know what? Stay away from me. That's what I tell about the girls, you know. And it was just a phase at the time in my life that I had to grow up, grow out of it, because it's in reality, and it doesn't mean that the people who stayed in that place, or it stayed like that, it's they're doing right or wrong. It's just uh, that it didn't work for me. It really didn't work for me because I really wanted to, you know, uh, be social and be able to cope with people and be able to cope with life and get back to work and everything like that. So, it was a very hard time for me to actually work on that level. So at that time, I started thinking and I started looking at, first of all, why women think the way that they think. They started, why is it that they behave that way? And then I started reading books and I started looking at other reasons why. And it became like an obsession to me of like, why is it that these girls are acting this way? Why? And I started learning about the psyche of the girl, and then from there I grow onto learning about why men think one way and then women think in another way, and so on and so forth. And it's been 10 years, 8 relationships. No, it wasn't 8 relationships. 10 years. Sorry, it's been about 10 years, 13 relationships, and counting. You know, I really uh, don't mind the girls. I really like girls, actually. I don't have no problems socializing or anything like that with them. I do understand and I agree with most of the guys out there that they think that they like the girls, but they just don't like the attitude. So I have that posture. I have that posture of like, yeah, I like girls, but I just don't like the attitude, the way that they go by doing things and things like that. And I try to cope with them and socialize with them as best I can. You know, another thing that actually makes me be upset is like, for example, it was a movie that I went to see with my son. That it was about it's a Disney World movie. My son liked to go out and see a Disney World movie, so I went to that movie. It was called I believe the name of the movie was called Maleficent. Yes, that was the movie, Maleficent. So in the movie, they depict, or Disney World, whoever did that story, depict Maleficent as a good girl and the guy as the very, very mean guy. Now, if you are an adult, you can defer and you can discern and be able to understand the movie in a very mature way. Now, if you are a kid, that's totally different. Kids don't know any better. And when I got out of that movie, I got really upset because they depicted Maleficent, which it means an evil spell, basically. And they depict Maleficent to be a better than the male itself. And I got really upset about it. I really I was very identified with the movie. And I was like, man, these people are so messed up. They are just trying to mess the guys up, throwing these things into this kid's mind. And then I was just thinking about my son growing old and growing up and being 18 years old, and then how the world's gonna be when he turns into 18 years old, and how he said that he was going to be integrate, or how is it that he was going to integrate with with not the girls, but with the world itself. And I got really upset about it. I really did got really upset, and that actually it was my turning point to say, you know what, forget about it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do whatever it is that I wanted to do, and try to be the best person that I can be. In my search of becoming of walking my path, I realized that I was letting the external forces or the external pressures of the world messing up with my peace and with my tranquility and with my inner self, with my happiness. I started being upset about this whole thing, and then that makes me really, really angry. So I don't blame people to be like that because of the situation. But I look at both sides. I did look at both sides. I look at the girl side and I look at the boy side. And in reality, I saw a different, it was the same anger from both sides. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. No, not doing it. I do not want to become bitter just because the world wants me to be bitter. Hell no, I'm doing it. So what I did with that is like, okay, the world's like this, So I got to find out. It has a system. So I got to find out how the system works. I got to find out how the system works in order for me to deal and cope with the system. And I find out. I did find out. You know, the world is a systematic way of living. We live in boxes. We live in our little cubbyhole, in our little eggshells. We don't want to get hurt. We looking more for pleasure than for hurt. We avoid hurt. We don't want it. And we tend to struggle with that. Not knowing that sometimes a little work and a little hurt doesn't gonna kill you. Sometimes you gotta have to see past hurt and see past the pain to be able to grow up. That's the way I see how life works. Because otherwise, you don't know how to cope with it. The only way to cope with it is complaining about other people and how good the other people have it. Well, instead of complaining about other people and how good other people have it, why don't we try to find something that makes us feel good about ourselves? Hey, that's just me. Because misery likes company. Misery likes company. And I'm not gonna be miserable. No, siree. I am not miserable. I am not gonna be miserable just because somebody decided to be miserable for himself and be happy being miserable. Yeah, so that thing is it's addictive. It is addictive. All the negative emotions, all of them are addictive. They're just like crack. That when the first time you try it, you want more and more and more. If you hate, you're gonna be hating more and more and more. If you're angry, you're gonna be wanting to be angry more and more and more. And then you're gonna have to justify, and you start justifying yourself. That's the worst thing. You start justifying yourself. Oh, I have the right to be angry. Yeah. You know, do you have to be angry all the time? Why don't you try to be happy for some time? I mean, it really doesn't hurt. You know? If you have a bad attitude, it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or girl. You know, you're upset, you got a bad attitude, you just don't want to cope or anything like that, people will tend to stay away from you. They'll stay away from you. You're not going to be sociable. And you're going to have to face the consequences. Okay? Now, if you love to be by yourself, hey, more power to you. If you love to be by yourself, you like to live you love to live a life of serenity and tranquility, and not having anybody messing around with you. Hey, I've been there. I had to struggle. Let me tell you, I have to struggle. I did have to struggle because I had to struggle with isolation. So in order for me not to be isolated, in order for me not to feel negative and isolated, I had to start reading and doing things on my own and liking something that I wanted to do, that I like and love to do. I love reading. I have a bunch of books. I got like $3,000 worth invested in books. You know, I can talk the talk and walk the walk all over all the time, because I have read a lot of books. Um, and it was because I didn't want to feel isolated. I wanted to feel, um, I wanted to feel that I was learning. So as long as I was learning and I was doing something of interest, then I didn't feel isolated. So that's one thing. Um, but then I also wanted to be sociable, and I started learning skills that, make me feel a little bit more sociable about it. So I started putting myself some things, comments in Facebook and things like that. Starts talking to people, that feels bad, and lift them up. I started to lifting them up, and what I found out is that the more I lift up the people, the more I feel good about myself. So this is a good way to basically promote happiness and promote hope and promote the enjoyment of life itself, whatever path you want to do, whatever you want to do, it really doesn't matter. I mean, let me see what else. So we went over the first topic, which is giving thanks and the purpose. We talk about what you going to expect from me, and we also talk about my life as a MGTOW. And last but not least, I wanted to talk about the reason for this channel. Well, the reason is very simple. The reason for this channel is to give tips. I don't expect to be a person to make, in reality, I don't expect to make money off of this channel. I really don't. If I make some money off of it, I will go ahead and buy ice cream with my kids and everything like that, and find a nanny. But I do expect to get a message across. I do expect to get the message across of hope, and expect that you guys, if you like the channel, you can go ahead and subscribe. If you think that for whatever reason this thing will help you in your life, and the tips that I give you will help you in your life to grow and develop yourself as a human being, as a man, and as a person, hey, by all means, go ahead and subscribe. Really support the channel. I really would appreciate that. But if you don't, then I understand. I really do understand. I mean, not everybody can think the way I think, and I can understand that. I'm not gonna be upset if you do not decide to subscribe or not. But I really do encourage you to do it. I intend to share a lot of information here, and I intend to, with that information, I intend to build instead of destroy, and instead of divide. I want to build and help you cope with whatever it is that you're going through in life. And in me, you're going to have a friend. I will always going to give you the best possible advice I could give you. But please understand that these are advice that based upon experience that I have. You know, the same experience that I have are never gonna be as the same as the experience that you have as a person. But if by all means you can find this channel useful, just go ahead and subscribe, and I will appreciate it. We'll see you next time. We're going to uh, leave you with the last portion of the show, which is a really good thank you for for your support and your sponsor and everything like that. So we'll see you next time. Uh, I hope to hear from you, and hope to hear your comments and everything like that. So thank you. This is MGTOW The Joker, and we're out.
You're a joke. You're a joke.